Hey everybody, welcome to the show, 2B. Today's show we're going to be reviewing Alien Isolation, and we're also going to be reviewing the 4th episode of the 11th series of Red Dwarf. But first, roll titles. And on to today's show, we're going to be doing the news first. And first of all the Super Bowl ads showed Guardians of the Galaxy, a bit of Logan, I think they said Justice League and all that, but they haven't shown us it. So, it's all like that. It's really interesting to see that people get fascinated at the Super Bowl. I could either go away. I like seeing the trailers, but then I don't really care about the game. People here are really fascinated about the game. I'm not really hummed up on the game. So yeah. And then next in the news, we have shown that they showed the new character for Injustice, which is Black Canary, which I had a theory about this a couple of months ago when they first announced Injustice. The actress who played Black Canary on the TV show Arrow, she posted a photo of herself doing motion capture for Injustice 2. Now everyone thought that she was doing it for another game. I thought it was true. So that's the end of the news. If you like classic horror, intense sci-fi movies like you did with the original Aliens movies, this is a game for you. Although there are a number of problems with it. But let's get on to the goods. The goods are that this feels like the Alien movies. It feels very scary, very heart-wrenching, and very pulse. I can feel my heart trying to explode every time I play it. Just like last week when we played Resident Evil. That game was intense. This is what was intense too, but there are a number of problems that I don't like with the game. For instance, I was expecting to see the Xenomorph like that. There's only a very few hours until you see it. And I thought the campaign was going to show it just then. No. The main villains for the first part of the game are the androids. Now, you've been given a weapon and flares and all that. I thought, yes, I can kill them. Then you go, no. You've got to run away and hide from them. Which is, I've never played these games before where you've got to run and hide like Amnesia and all that. But it just feels a little tacked on. Like you shoot, it goes right through. Surely they must do some damage. I haven't got to the flamethrower part, but that must be the part where you can damage them, but who knows. When you get to the Xenomorph, it is intense. You are looking everywhere with your motion tracker everywhere. And trust me, you want to save this game every level. Every level I got to save was when I did. Because it's not fair. When you went to save, you could either die and not look where you were going. The maps are just like the traditional Resident Evil, where it shows the grid on the pause map. But yeah, it's a really interesting game. The save files, but the best thing about the game, the atmosphere. It feels and it looks like the movies. Just like it came right off the screen, because, my goodness. The characters, you're playing as Ripley's daughter, which from, I believe, the second movie, is a deleted scene where she has the daughter, so to do that with you will. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, it was a little disappointment at the beginning with the Xenomorph didn't appear for quite a while in the game. So what do I think of it? Well, I think Resident Evil was a bit of a superior game, because this game came out, I think it was 2 years ago. So what do I give Alien Isolation? I give Alien Isolation 6 out of 10. Now let's move on to the next review. Red Dwarf, Series 11, Episode 4. This was an interesting episode. It's another traditional Red Dwarf one. The crew are flying through an asteroid field, only to find that there's a ship with a life sign, saying that there's half of a life sign. But and then it says halfway through the thing, oh, that there's a full lifeline. Then they get communicated by the machine. They get communication from the ship, only to find out that the person who was there is a droid, sort of like a 3D printer that he comes out of, and says, oh, well, my head's been printed the wrong way and all that. I got jammed. Saying, oh, who, and all that. it's a really interesting dialogue, so I'll skip most of it, only to say that the guy on the ship is a higher rank than Rimmer and promotes him to captain. So over then they get back to Red Dwarf, only to find out that Rimmer has let it go to his head. He says, oh, I'm going to be captain, so there's only 2 elevators. So there's the captain's personal elevator, and there are the scum. Lister the cat and Crichton's elevator, which doesn't work and can't hear them properly. So he spends that, and then only to find out that he's done it again. He's made his own corridor for the only captains. So they finally get all the paperwork, and he's finally as a captain. Then they get the guy off the ship onto Red Dwarf, and says, I promote you to captain. Oh, maybe I should promote you to admiral. And so he becomes Admiral Rimmer. And so they go, oh, how are we going to demote him now? So they get the pretty printer machine onto the drawer, and then Rimmer says, I want you to print out all the crew. Well, what about Lister? Oh, but he's just scum. I am Admiral now, that's an order. And so Lister says, how are we going to stop him? Says, well, we could delete all of the files of the people on the printer. So they delete all the files, and then Crichton tells him that, oh, somehow mistake, all the people in the printer have just been deleted by mistake. I says, well, I think Lister should be behind this. Only find out that it was. So the next thing he has to do, well, what about print me? So here's the really bad thing. Rimmer decides to print himself, not just once, not just twice, but thousands and thousands of Rimmers on Red Dwarf, only to find out to promote them all to captain and make a new captain's bar, which was only for Rimmers. So then Lister finds out that there's a bar, and says, where's the pretty printer? I'm going to destroy it. And then Rimmer says, no, we need to make some much bigger with muscle Rimmer as bouncers. So they make it, only to find out that Rimmer doesn't think it will work, keeps on pressing the button, but it gets jammed. So the whole printer prints out a massive monster of Rimmers stuck together, and it's ridiculous. The whole thing, then the monster tries to absorb all the other clones that he's done, that he's of himself, and then the other guys are in the medibay. They look at the monitor, and it looks like Pac-Man. The monster's going around trying to get all of the Rimmers. So the crew hatch a plan. The only way that Rimmer can stop the monster is if he demotes himself. So he demotes himself, and then they hatch a plan to trap it, him as bait, and he says, well, this is not going to work. And then he gets cornered by the monster. The monster then tries to absorb him. They say, oh, have you got a pen? You should plan what you need to do next. He said, oh, that's right, we should plan what we need to do next. So as the monster's doing that, Rimmer sneaks away from it and says, what are you doing now? What time is it now? It's time to die. Do, 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 do. And that is how the episode ends. So what did I think of this episode? Well, I thought it was genuinely an average episode, so I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. And that's it for this week. Coming up next week, we might be I have no idea what we're going to do, but I am going to leave it to a random to do something very random. So until next week, goodbye.